But so let me use this to highlight it. Okay. So that's what I have, and this is also what I have. Okay, but what I really need is just this tightening. That's what I want. Okay, so for me, I'm a fan of, you know, making your bust look, this side looks perfectly okay, but this part I don't like the way it is. So others may not, but like I said, I'm just showing you this my own way. All right, so for me, either I put my curve this way and I try to make this rounded. Okay, I don't want it to look so sharp at that point. So I'll place this, and I don't mind taking out that, which I can also replace down there. Okay, so I prefer it to be curvy, not pointy. Okay, so because whatever I take out of there, I can always take it back to that point. But please let this not be pointy, because it's going to affect, especially when you're going to do bust caging. Because you're going to be doing bust caging, you need this to be as smooth as is meant to be. Okay, so taking a little out of that point will not affect anything. Have you seen that? So I'd rather have it curvy than, you know, have it pointy. Okay, curve that as well. All right, so that's it there. So now I'm going to return all of these things back. Okay, so whatever I have here on the side, so I have whatever I have here, I'm going to return it back here. Okay, because I need to complete this back since I'm going to be using this armhole. Okay, and also I'll check what I have now at this point, because we are going to be designing our neckline. I have opened that back. I'll bring this back, close this. This is now a dart. It's kind of not part of this anymore at the moment. Of course it's not, but to use it I need to you know, close it, because do you understand, this is not part of this anymore. So to get this, I need to actually cut this to bring this together. So I'm going to do that now. So you look at the folded line. There was, when you folded your dart, of course there's a middle line. I didn't want to draw it out, but it's there. So I'm just following that line to, you know, open this dart so that it can help me with closing that part. All right, so with that I can now fold this. I'm just taking my time to explain this. The video would have been faster than this, but I want you to understand what I'm doing. Okay. So having this, I can now design my neckline. Okay, so I want to redraw my shoulder. So I've taken what I took there and I brought it back here. Okay, so I've replaced it. So what I have here, I've replaced it so that I have exactly my total. So let me explain this. So that this, whatever I have here, from here to here, okay, that's 1 3/4. I want to make sure that I have the same amount of that here. That's the same amount of whatever I have there. So I need to replace my shoulder back at that point, since I'm using this part. Okay, so that is what I have done. So I'll fold this back like I said, so that we are able to design our neckline. equally. Okay. So at this point too, you're also meant to measure what you have here. Sorry, before I had folded that, I forgot. You're meant to check what you have here, you know. I think I have, so if I measure twice of this, I have about 1/3 as well. So you replace it. You can do one, you can do 1.5, because actually you can trim it off, you know, eventually. So I'll just do this. Okay. So I'm just replacing whatever I took from that point so that I still have my complete measurements. All right. Do you understand that? Okay. So, and I'll now replace this. Now, at a point, I told you that I needed to come in. Please, at your chest line, to make your overbust corset fitted, come in by 1/2 inch. I do that just to give me that tightening at this point. Not that, you know, because we haven't really opened a lot of this place. So I'm going to redraw my armhole back. Okay. So I'll take from here to here first. Okay. And then you replace this back. So have you seen that? So this is going to be my new line. All right. Not this anymore, so that I have balanced this back. So now we are going to now create, you know, our neckline. So let me do it with the marker so you can see that. Okay. Okay. So that's our new armhole line. Okay. So having done that, we now need to draw our neckline. Okay. So for this part, you can make it as high or as low as you want it to be. All right. Some people come down, you know, this is your nipple point. Note that. So coming down, you need to know how low you want it to be. I'm having something on the inside. I'm wearing something else on the inside, like a bolero. Then I'll wear this on top of it. So it depends on what you want. So for me, I don't want it too exposing. All right. So I'll leave mine at this point, like at my chest line. And if I choose to, I can even go up. I can still go up at 1/2 inch because maybe I don't really want my bust really showing. All right. So it depends on, like I said, I'm wearing something on the inside, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. So whatever you choose. Then now don't forget that this is your new armhole line, not this anymore. Okay. But also in my case, I'll now mark where my half of my armhole was, which is here. Okay, so let's say this line I took, I will come up by 1 inch. That is where I'm going to take to curve my neckline. All right. So I'm coming up this line. Remember we have a line here, the chest line that we had here that we went up or we came down by 7 inches. And I told you could come down by 6 or 7 inches. Come up 1 inch at that line or use the middle of your armhole. You know, we did our armhole, the line, we divided it by 2 to get the midpoint. Use that midpoint, which is this in my case at this point. All right. So at that point, I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch. Most people use that and draw their neckline design. It is fine if you want to, but I found that at times it gapes. So if you don't want it to gape, you need to come in. All right. So when you come in, you're now going to create your neckline. All right. So this is what we're meant to have. So like I said, if you want to come up. If you don't want it to be like really exposing or whatever. All right. Like I said, I'm wearing something inside of mine, so that's fine. All right. So this is how it is going to be. If you want this place to be more shooting, you can as well come up. It's all your design, your creativity. All right. If you don't want this as low as this, please come up So you can as well come up to half. All right, so if you come up to half, you take this up to half. Do you understand? Just so that it's more beautiful. It's not revealing if you don't want it to be revealing. All right, so I can as well choose to do this. Okay, so this is down, this is up. This will really show a bit of your, make it more sexy. All right, so you can choose to do either of that, but I'm okay with the down one. So like I said, it's a choice, so please you can make the choice for yourself. So you also want this to be very high, you bring it up. Okay, so I'm okay where it is. So I'll use my marker and do this so that you can see that very well. Okay. So this is it. Like I said, this is my actual armhole, and I came in half an inch so that it does not gape. All right. And at this point too, this is my actual, and I said come in half of an inch. All right. Just so that it gives you that fitting. It doesn't mean if you don't come in, nothing will happen, and then you're going to come up also. So at this point, I'm also going to come up half of an inch here. Okay. So I came up half of an inch, then I can now draw this. So I will draw from here. Please don't get confused. Watch that well. Let me use a different color. So I'm now going to draw my new So can you see that? So this is going to be it, and this is going to be it. So like I said, if you want this to be higher, you can actually bring it more higher than this, but I'm okay with it that way. So this is now going to be our new line. That's why I didn't want to use marker, initially, so that you can see what we have and what, so it doesn't get confusing with too many lines. Sorry, I can't really clean this because I want to do it bolero with it as well. All right, so now we are done with our neckline, but for me, I don't stop there. I like checking. Now, why do I like checking? Because I want to be sure that when I sew it, I'm having the same thing. And if it's not, then I'm going to make sure that I sort that out, okay? So in that case, I can now open this back up. So I have opened this. Then I'm going to through my lines. I'm big up on that because I want to be sure that when I put this thing down, I'm having the same thing, okay? So I will check. This is how I do my own checking before we complete the down part of this, okay? So I just want to bring it up so you can see. All right, so I will take my tape and I'll check. I'll just follow the line that I'm going to be sewing on. To the point I'm cutting it and see what I have. So I have 40.5. I'll check this. Okay, so I have 41 here. So because I have 41 this way, I'm going to make sure that I have the same thing here. All right, so that I don't run into any issues. Now, you can decide to, but for me, I think I prefer to do it on this part since I can easily adjust this part as well. So it just helps so that when you're sewing, you're not, having all those shortage or whatever. So now I know where this is and I have marked it. Okay, so this is it and I'm going to redraw it. So at this point, I'm going to redraw my neckline. All right. So now they are both the same. All right. Have you seen that? So that is checking your pattern so that when you sew this, it's easy. It will align properly. All right. So now let's create our down. Okay. So now for this down part, all what I want to do is, remember, I'm trying to shift. Sorry, I'm trying to really shift this so that you can see the down part. All right, so this is it. So for me, I just want to come from here and create that nice, okay. So that's what I want. Please, you can create anything. You can create anything you want with yours. That's just, I just want this as a design in mind. Okay. So I'll just try to make it look okay before I go in with my marker for you to see. Okay. All right. So that's the design I want for mine. So I'll use the marker now so that you can see it properly. Okay. So that's what I want for mine. So having done that, since I now have what I want, I can now use my marker to line this up properly. Okay. All right. Okay, so I've just used my marker and did line that up so that you can see. And really, our front is finished. So please remember that I did a star line at this point. Okay, it's better to do. I'm cleaning it off now because I don't know if I'm going to have it or not. I was just using it to teach you, to show you that you could actually have a star line. But if you're going to put your star line that you're going to use, it's better to do it after you have, closed your bust dart. Okay, so that it flows, properly. All right, just like I'm doing. So right now, I can now decide to put the star line. Okay, because I have closed my bust dart. Okay, so like I said, if I don't want too much of cinching for me. Okay, so I'm not really taking too much here. I'm just doing just a little. I don't need much. So if you want much, please cinch. It's how tight you want it to be. I want to be able to breathe. So for me, I'm just okay with a very light cinching of the waist. Okay. So like I said, if you have this, then you're going to be having lots of pieces. Okay. Because that means you're going to have this piece, and this piece. But if you don't want to have too many pieces, you can just have, this and this. And then you can now bone, create a channel, draw it out and, bone it. It's still okay. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if I want to use that, but you can as well go ahead and use that, okay? So I'm done with this. I'm not cutting it out yet. I want to draw out what I want before I cut it out. So I'm going to keep this aside And then I'm going to quickly get our back done. We spent a whole lot of time on the front already. Okay, so for the back now, I have my top line. The back is very fast and also very easy. Okay, so I'm going to put in my 3 inches across. All right, 1 inch down. So that's for the I hope you're seeing that. That's for the neckline. So I did 3 inches across and I did 1 inch down and I turn it into a curve. All right, so the next thing is my shoulder measurement. I'll mark that, and then my armhole measurement. Okay, so whatever I took for my chest line at the front, I'm going to do the same thing at the back. All right, so I marked it, and then I'm going to mark my half length. Mind you, like I told you, my half length for my back is 2 inches less. All right, so once I have done that, I'm also going to count down 4 inches, all right, from there for my blouse length, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is what I did at the front. Okay, and then also take my hip measurements that I took. Okay, my back, the hip measurement. So whatever you're taking is all less 2 inches. That's how it is. Okay, so I have to mark them half, so I'll mark them at different points. So having done that, I'm going to turn them into straight lines. Okay, so here you have your chest line. Okay, you have your waist line, so that's like your half length, whatever you call it. You have your blouse length, and then you have your hip line. All right, so here, whatever we marked as your shoulder line, please do same at this point. Okay, so once you do that, you're going to turn that into a straight line. Okay, so having done that, you're going to come down your shoulder slope 1 inch at the back. Remember, I did 1.5 for the front, but the back I'm doing 1 inch. You can do whatever you're used to. We're all advanced designers here. Okay, so at this point also, I'm going to divide my armhole into 2, and then I'll come in half of an inch. Okay, and turn that into a straight line. And then on this line, I'm going to measure my bust divided by 4. All right, and I'll mark it, and don't forget that I came in like half of an inch at that point. Okay, so don't forget that. So I'll take my waist measurement. So my waist divided by 4, I'll mark it, and if I'm going to add a dot to it, then I can also just add my dot, right? And if I choose not to, maybe I want to take out, like I'm not taking out the 1 inch, you know, like I did. So I'm just putting in my normal waist measurement at that point, and then my hip measurement. So whatever I have as my hip measurement, I'll put it in. So these are all my normal measurements at this point. Okay, So if I actually really want to also cinch the back by one, I'm going to take it out at my that line, okay? All right. So now, so what I'll do here is to mark my, normally you can also use your bust dart divided by 2. But because I'm going to be creating, I'm going to be coming in for my loops, okay? So I'll rather divide my waistline into 2, okay? So whatever I have, I'll mark the same thing at this point, okay? So watch how I'm going to draw this line. The back is very easy to draw. I'm taking it all the way from my blouse length, okay? I'm taking it a bit out, all right? So, like I said, if you want to cinch the back at this point, you can also cinch it. I'm not adding anything back, all right? So I'll just take my 1/2 inch. It's just to add a bit of cinching to it if you want. And you can also do it less if you choose to, okay? So I take it up. And I take it up. And if you're going to have more than one line, then you can reduce this cinching, please, and share it. Like if you're going to have more than one style line, rather, you reduce this because already we've taken one out. We didn't take it out here, we took it out here. So you can reduce this, probably give half to this style line and give half to the next style line. It all depends on what you want, okay? So having done that, we'll now come here. All right. First of all, I'm going to create the neckline that I want. Remember that at this point, we came up 1/2 inch. So you're still going to come up 1/2 inch again. Here. Don't forget that, okay? So you can create anything at your back. You can decide to do this. Do you get? Just bring this down. And that is your neckline, all right, if you want. But for me, because I'm plus size and I wouldn't want that, so I'm going to come up. I don't really have any measurement to this. I just came up. Also don't make it too high. Make it blend in or something. So see what I'm doing. So I'm just blending it in. I don't have any measurement to it like that. Okay. But I know what I want there. So you can also do that. I don't want it to be too curvy. But I just want it to hide the fat at the back. All right. So see what I did. Okay. And I'll take it in like that. All right. So that's going to be my back. That's what I want. Okay. So at the down part here, I'm going to come in 1 inch here. And here, I'm going to come in 2 inches, all right, at this point. So it will give me this kind of slanted look at the back. Okay, so that's what I have. And I'm going to be having my loops here, okay? So I didn't want the space to be tiny. That's why I divided my waist into 2, all right? So I do that, especially when it's a plus size and all of that, just to have it okay. All right, so the next thing to do is to now create my side. I don't just want to draw it. I want to make sure that I'm having the same thing with the front. So I'll just bring the front in. Okay. My paper is actually very light, so I actually want to use it to check, to make sure that my sides are the same. So that's me. I must always true my lines, because you should sew and then you're having the same thing. Okay. So I'll place it from the waistline. So first of all, I'll place it and check and make sure that I'm having the same thing. And if I'm not, I'm going to make sure that I have exactly the same thing. It's very, very important. Okay, so I've seen that. So I've taken it up so that I have exactly the same thing at that point. All right. So I can see through. So that's why I'm doing that. Then I'll now check the hip part from my waistline again. I'll move it down. Okay. So all of this is just to check and make sure that you're having exactly the same thing. And if it's not, you make sure you bring it down so that you have the same. So it's not enough and I've extended it. And I'm following exactly what I have here to a point. Okay. So it's nothing much, just as easy as that. Like I said, I needed to do a lot of explanation. That's why it took this much time. All right. Okay. So now that I have gotten it the way I want it, so I can now use my curve. I have exactly what I have at the front, so that if I sew it, I'm not having the difference is the same thing. Okay. And also work with your hands. Everything is not the ruler. All right. So here I need to sort out this point to make sure that it flows. Okay. So that is it. All right. So our back is ready. Like I said, I'm going to cut it. I'll need to copy it, then I'm going to cut it and show you. Okay. So here you're going to be having your CB and mark that this faces up. Okay. And here you're going to have your SB and also put an arrow that this faces up. Don't forget to have your lines, so that you know where you're joining what to what. Okay, so you also do that. So I've done that, and I'm going to also do the front. So the front, you're going to have your CF. Okay, it can be on fold. You can choose to leave it on fold. You can choose not to leave it on fold, but know that you're going to have a style line at this point. It all depends on what you want. And if you're going to separate these two style lines, that means you're going to be having this as MF and you're going to be having this as your SF. Okay. So you're going to be having this, you're going to be having this, and you're going to be having this. So I'll cut it out and we'll cut it out together and I'll show you. Okay, so now that we're done, we can now permanently close our bust dart and then we can cut out. Okay. So I've closed my bust dart. And now I'm undecided about this, so until I've decided what to do there, okay? So pending that, we're going to cut. Okay guys, so we're done. like I said, I'll decide if I want to split this or not split it. Okay, so that's what we have. All right, so my name is Nita, your physical and online instructor, and it's been an awesome time with you guys cutting our overbust corset. All right, so we're going to put this on our fabrics and cut it and sew it. So we'll be doing this in the next class. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel. I'm so sorry, apologies, the video is very long, but like I said, I needed to take my time and explain this. All right, so I'll be seeing you in my next class.